was lost, lacking the purpose, lacking this, what I'm feeling now, with so much more clarity and understanding of who I am. But I was so taken away from that. And as a kid, I wasn't. I can bring people into a deeper state of aliveness, of joy, of harmony, of connection to themselves, to their calling. And that feels like a deep part of the way I play, is connecting with our calling and our mission and our gift, our unique gift to this world. I feel like everyone has one that's unique to them. And that's what I feel like a part of the way I play is, and what my mission is, to just create spaces where people can tap into that deeper part of themselves. So am I going to play with this like most podcasters? They always move it and they always just like...
start licking it.
They're just... What?
Don't start licking it.
You sure?
Yeah, I know it's hard for you when you've got something that size next to your mouth.
Yeah. They always play... You see podcasters, they're always just like screwing it a little bit. They're always just like
Do
moving.
They?
Well, no.
No, you can move it.
No, I know I can, but it just feels...
I feel like you're going to shout.
What's that?
Regulate your noise.
No, my laugh would be the thing that's...
Is it? Laugh away from the mic. That's very loud.
It's a bit cramped in here. I can't... Don't know if I can go so much further back.
You can't contain the container. Jim Carrey. Yeah, he does that on a speech, talking about consciousness. You can't contain the container.
Elvis Presley impression. Have you seen
knew that's what you're trying to say. Let's turn the
music. All that. Just our intentions before the ceremony.
You love an intention.
Yeah, mate. It's all
How are you, bro?
Are we live? Oh, he's one of them ones.
Oh, just sneak it in there.
No, yeah. Excited, bro. Nervous. Heart's not. It's just a little bit like, ooh, hello. Something's happening.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Communication.
Well,
it's information.
Developing that communication.
Yeah, you're going to play with it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's got the branding on. Gotta get that on.
I know, mate.
The Chris Coaster podcast.
Oh, he's coming after me. I'm excited.
You're
mate.
On it.
I
want that as my intro.
What?
You and Benji.
Just the Chris Coaster the podcast.
Yeah.
That would be good. That's a good idea.
Yeah. What are you doing there?
What's that?
What's that? They're not going to enjoy that.
A few viewers just enjoyed that. You're welcome. And for the rest of you, that's how it is.
Yeah. That's how it will be.
Can you take a few breaths just to...
Yeah?
You
wanna guide us through some breaths?
Yeah,
enjoy
Thank you, bro.
the breaths, but also inviting those listening. It's nice to start with some breaths.
Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Relaxing the shoulders, the jaw, any tension that might be in the body. Easing into the moment, to the space that we're in right now. Feeling the belly up to the chest. Allowing what is, how we're feeling in this moment, where we're at. What's happened in this day thus far. Being here. what a magical gift it is to be here, to be alive, to breathe. Tuning in with the heart space, the heart that beats blood around our body, pumping the engine, pumping this vessel. May we act from this space, speak with love, compassion, acceptance. Laughter. And in this space, gratitude can bubble and flow. For me, tuning in to being grateful for being here, to being invited into this space with Chris, and everything that's led me up to this moment. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. A lot of energy moving right now within me. Challenging to come into state of presence and holding, because of there's so much that I want to bring to this conversation and so many things I want to discuss with you. Firstly, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for walking this path, towing the line, which I feel I look for it in people. Can you walk this path between play and what would the opposite of play be? Seriousness, I guess. Yeah. But it's not, is it? But I think people know what I mean when I say like the opposite of play. It's like going real deep into my child, but also into my adult, and holding the both in the same breath. Mm-hmm. And I think that is something that you have chosen to embody. Yeah, man, welcome.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, it's beautiful to be here. Yeah, it feels like a long time coming, and yeah, I knew it would come at the exact right moment, and to not force it or rush it. But yeah, man, I've always been inspired by the work you do and the way you hold yourself and carry yourself, and just your commitment to this craft and this work every week. And there's the podcast, there's the men's work, there's just you as a person, really. These things are incredible things that you're offering, but actually it's who we are in our day-to-day and how we relate with others. That's the energy, that's the currency that is so important. You know, there's money, that currency, but the currency of relationship and that energy is just so valuable. And that's what I feel like I've learned and learning this past few years after traveling different places in Asia and with my ex, and coming home to UK, to England where I was born, the roots, and really being welcomed into a community of loving, heart-centered, passionate, thriving beings, being welcomed, and me really taking the space in that as well, and driving forward, and like seeing the opportunity, and wow. And that's what I feel like we're all searching for generally, is feeling of a belonging of somewhere, and feeling wanted somewhere, and feeling a purpose within a community, within a space, within a tribe. And we've been so far we've been taken away from that in many ways, and
many ways. When did you first have that awareness that you didn't belong, or that you wanted more of the belonging? Was it always the thing?
Didn't belong. What's coming up now is what's coming up now straight away was there, like 13, 14, 15, going into teenage years. As a child, I was very out there climbing trees. I was just so creative, making little short films, and just very expressive, confident, doing sports, everything, just really present, and a lot of freedom. And then going into the system and feeling a lot of that, school and things like that, I felt trapped, and I felt really imprisoned into a system that didn't work for me. And I think it doesn't work for a lot of people. And in that, this feeling of more, wanting more, and knowing I can offer more, and knowing there is more out there. Also having 3 older brothers who were all showing me more, and coming back from traveling India, tattoos, long hair, and being like, bro, wide-eyed, and then I'm just stuck there, doing homework, and just feeling like so trapped. Because a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people are in it, but they might not have that future possibilities and future adventures, or future opportunities of different ways of living and different ways of being that could be more aligned with who we truly are. And my brothers were creating that pathway for me in ways as well.
So why was that not inspiring for you? Did it feel, in a way, like it shined a light on how trapped you felt?
Exactly. Yeah. It was inspiring. It was like, oh, there is more to this. I know after education, I'm traveling the world. I know that, and I know what it's going to bring for me. But in the space I was in, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, didn't have the sort of it was more the feeling of trapped was really just there present. But still there was this inner knowing, inner feeling of I'm ready to get out there, and discover my purpose, discover who I want to be, what I want to offer to this world. Because I've known it, I think, all my life, that I really have this deep desire to make a change in my life, in other people's lives around me, in a bigger, global impact in ways. So I thought it was being an actor, and being on film, and that kind of way. But it's as a kid I knew what it was. I loved climbing trees, I loved play fighting and playing, I loved being really creative and letting that sort of be expressed, and being authentic and real, taking up space and knowing I'm worthy of taking up space, but understanding there's wounding there as well.
Was that shut down at any point in your life? Do you remember seminal moments where this expressive Benny was kind of not welcome?
Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, man. Growing up with 3 older brothers, there's so much to it, and they've brought me so much. It's almost like they parented me as well, in ways as well, and they raised me. But being the youngest, and that dynamic of being told to shut up, or that this feeling that my voice is on the hierarchy of like, I'm the youngest, so there's this kind of hierarchy of like power, or in ways, or and actual strength, if we talk about strength and power, and like how big we are as well in physical ways as well. But yeah, I definitely feel like at times it was sort of contained, but also not. My mum and dad gave me a lot of freedom, you know, being also the youngest. They've gone through 3 children of like, and understanding ways of parenting and discovering, you know, the first child is always quite like, you put a lot of pressure on, or you feel this like you've got to like look after them and tend to them a lot, and this kind of, and as the children go on, it's like, okay, maybe we don't actually have to do that as much, maybe we can ease off a bit and they'll be all right, we'll leave them in the room and it'll be all right. To cry out, which was a method in ways of parenting back then, which now we're discovering is not the most effective way of loving your child, we could say.
Yeah, I remember crying in my bedroom and trying to get attention. I was probably about 13, maybe a little younger, but I remember crying, like screaming, just to try and get attention, just to try and get some affection or whatever it might be, some soothing. It's real, like, significant memory.
Me too,
Only
bro.
came to me a couple of years ago. I'd like definitely suppressed that.
Me too, bro. Very similar. I remember facing my door, crying, and just letting out and just shouting at the door, and just releasing it. And I mean, this is the way, the methodology, the way that our parents were taught at that time, you know, that was effective, and that's what they were taught. And I don't want to blame them for that. I want to honor the pain that's caused from that, and the trauma and things like that. But yeah, I'm learning to accept these experiences, and that, it's brought me to where I'm at, and that pain, as I accept and allow it, it connects me deeper to that part of me that feels deeply abandoned in that moment and neglected. So it's my job now to reparent myself, to hold that younger Benny who's 8 years old crying behind that door. And I know I am, you know, even in a mentee training, a mentee movement, 10-day incredible experience. We through creating the space and in a ritual, embodying through the music, through the elements, and by allowing our body to move in this way, we can actually tap into these parts that haven't been maybe moved or are stagnant, and can actually tap into past experiences through the allowance of our body's movement. And I actually, it came out, it was expressed, that exact movement, and I was like reenacting it, and it was all visually there, and it's like, wow, and it's literally living that moment again in a way in our body, in this new space that I'm in now, in this new self, and holding it and loving that part. It's like a deeper level of healing that I'm exploring, you know, proper, really embodied and really somatic. And it's all in my responsibility to do all this. You know, we talk about this, and it's about taking responsibility for all this, and to blame others doesn't help or heal anything.
No. In the moment, I think it might, for long term.
For sure,
it's
for
like
sure.
that in the moment, it can soothe something.
For sure.
Allow us to feel,
of course,
momentarily different.
No, you're right. Yeah.
But you said they gave you a lot of freedom, your parents.
Yeah.
So that came with certain.
It really brought. The level of freedom I had as a child was just. I'm so grateful for it, because they didn't pressure me in school. They didn't pressure me to do anything. They gave me such a free playground to just explore. They took me to gymnastics, to rugby. They took me to all these sports that I wanted to do. We went on, you know, incredible holidays. And I had 3 older brothers to support me in these ways. You know, there was a lot of trouble and pain as well, but there was a lot of also support as 3 older brothers who are older and can give me guidance, and they have done my whole life in so many ways. They've really helped mold me into who I am today. But the freedom is just like, it's kind of a, you know, there's the freedom, and then there's also the feeling of like, sometimes maybe I don't want as much freedom and I want to be a bit closer. So that's kind of something I'm understanding and learning. I
think it's also having maybe the capacity to hold those 2 truths. Because sometimes we want to black and white thinking. We want to think it's one way, but then what that doesn't allow is the other way to actually come through. And it's actually a symptom of stress and And like disassociation can be very black and white. So emotionally, there's a book called How to Deal with an Emotionally Unintelligent Parents, and it talks about black and white thinking in this way. And I think you can probably apply it to that. But what I'm hearing is you're holding those two truths of like, yes, it was painful, but yes, it was beautiful. And you can make space for both, and it doesn't need to be so clear, you know. And it is this complexity that we have to hold if we want to do any sort of healing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's the balance of just like, yeah, exactly, looking at both truths. They're both valid, and not favouring the other or whatever.
So what was your life like growing up then in this like teenage years, like noticing this kind of yearning for something a lot more? And what was like what was your life like? How were you navigating? You got into a relationship quite young? Yeah,
with my ex around 16, 17. Before that, kind of from like 13 to 16, like exploring, being with girls at different parties and kind of fooling around a bit. And yeah, it was very boosting in my confidence, and like yeah, just I did feel free in the years of like 13 to 16, you know, going to parties, you know, making, you know, a nice group of friends. And education wasn't as tight then. It wasn't as pressurizing, and you know, from 13 to 16 it's still a little bit more at ease. And then really at 16 to like 18, those years were just like A levels and just seriousness and yeah, I struggled with that. But
who do you want to be, Benny?
Yeah,
who do you want to be?
Exactly. And everything they were telling me to be was just like, no.
What was in the cards for you? Like, what was the trajectory? Because you went into acting.
I feel like, yeah, so I've done acting, performing a lot of my life. I've loved it. Dancing, I've loved all of it. And through my teenage years, I did it as well, and I did theatre and things like this in school, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. A-level theatre was just like English with a little bit of acting, and it was studying, you know, the lighting and the theatre production. It was just, and my teacher was, not, let's just say not the teacher I would have liked, not the most inspiring person. So I feel acting for me was something I've thoroughly enjoyed, and yet felt like there was still something missing in it. It was like a puzzle that was laid out, but there were just certain aspects or parts of it that were just like, what's this that's missing? And I always felt like it wasn't fully complete, but it was definitely something that I needed to go throughout my life and enjoyed so deeply. But yeah, through teenage years has just been, my inner teenager, it's been deep work for me. It's a lot of inner child work. Feels like that's been much not as something present for me to work on. Feels like my inner child is very present a lot of the time. Feels like I have a healthy connection and relationship with that part. It's my inner teenager that I've been working on this past few years of reconnecting with and understanding where I've neglected that part of me, neglected my inner teenager because of being lost and confused, and being lost in alcohol, in drugs, in women, and just like lost in my purpose as a teenager, just with, like I said, feeling trapped in the system. My relationship with mum and dad was quite rocky, and that was a period where it was, and they felt disrespected by me, I felt disrespected by them. And you know, the teenage years where you're a teenager and you're just in this kind of more moody way, in a way, because it is a challenging time. It's a you know, you're a child and you're just like, wow, you're present, and not everyone maybe is always cheerful. I mean, for me, I was very much this kind of wow, but generally we aren't as indoctrinated in and conditioned through the system and through the programming in a way as a child. And then it's really, for me, the teenage years is this kind of like confusing. I'm not a child anymore, I'm not an adult yet, I'm this kind of, and I had older brothers who were adults, and I knew older sort of people, and I just felt this kind of like, what am I? And it's a lot of work of allowing and loving that part of me, and really, you know, I have a visualization that he's sort of behind a rock, or he was, and this is through like a sort of grief ceremony that I did at the village, and really, like, my inner teenager came present and just sort of was saying like, there's a lot of grief here and there's a lot of pain with that, and it kind of spoke to me of like, we're distant, and I really feel neglected and abandoned by you, and yeah, and it's after that grief ceremony, it was like, wow, it really woke me up to that truth, and that I really intend to reconnect and to love that part as best I can, and love every part of it, love the messiness within myself, and also the messiness in my room, and how that created a lot of conflict in my family household, and it's a reflection, isn't it? Our messiness, how we keep our external room or house reflects inward and where we're at, and my room was an absolute tip.
Would you say you were ungrounded? And what does that mean for you?
Yeah, ungrounded. For sure. Yeah.
Because it's a maturation, isn't it, really? I think a lot of wounding is done in those teenage years. Maybe a lot of it for men.
Yeah.
Maybe more for men. I think men struggle a lot more in the education system. There's not as many role models. There's not as much modelling of behaviour, of like examples of like, how to be a man, and it's different, of course.
I think that's it. Yeah, I mean, you're so right, man. The role models, the elders. How much we lack eldership within the Western world, and people to help us and support us in this time. And we look for our parents at those times. I did, and they struggled to support me in the way that I needed at the time, and my brothers, and when I needed them in the teenage years, they were off traveling in India or in Nepal, or they were all traveling, they were all just elsewhere, and they would come back, and then I'd have that connection. But like in the moment when I was a teenager, it kind of looked that I was like happy, and I thought I was like, I felt like I've got friends, I'm partying, I've got a comfortable life in ways, but actually, like, now as I reflect, it was incredibly challenging and traumatizing in ways. And I with alcohol, it was just one where I was just like, I'd get, and this shows the ungroundedness, or just lost in alcohol, just like on the floor, passed out. And then I look on videos the next day on Snapchat of people just putting stuff on top of me when I'm passed out, or things like this. Or one time I passed out onto a wall. I stood up, passed out. And it was really challenging, man, waking up and just like looking at the stories and being like, oh wow. It was so anxiety inducing, and painful to feel that and see that. But then in it, I'm like, but I don't feel depressed. I don't feel like I've got anxiety, but I was lost, lacking the purpose, lacking this, what I'm feeling now, with so much more clarity and understanding of who I am. But I was so taken away from that. And as a kid, I wasn't. So it's really the system of just like taking me so far away from who I truly am, that I was just wandering and like, just like looking for support and guidance, and really, felt like I lacked it, or was deprived of it.
I don't know if it's because you're wearing the same clothes, but there's a lot of resonance in the stories you're telling. It's very true for me as well. Didn't have stories though so much when I was growing up in that time, but it was confusing for me. But without the reflection, it can be very easy to justify that behaviour and look around and be like, oh, this is just normal. This is just the thing you do. There might be extremes of it,
Yeah.
and certain things, symptoms of it that aren't so normal. But how did it manifest in your body then? And like, when was the first time you really felt like your body communicating to you that this wasn't okay? You mentioned anxiety, depression, or like, what was it? What was the motivation for change? You feel like you had that awareness of not having a connection to what you were doing. Yeah. And you were looking for that. Yeah. When was like that moment that you realise that you had to make a shift?
Yeah. And traveling for the first time with my two best mates, Thailand, things like this, what I've always dreamed of for years. It was incredible, but still getting drunk, still kind of searching, and still finding my path in a way, and looking for guidance in ways, and understanding and reflections, and then traveling, and then going to Nepal with my ex and my brother and his partner, and really before that going through a real challenging time with my ex, and moving through a lot, a real kind of like heart cracking open, sort of crumbling, collapsing of ego, identity and self, and like the sort of what I trusted in, just sort of like falling. And then going to Nepal with this sort of more sort of a rebirthing in a way, and going to Nepal with my brother, who's brought a lot of guidance for me, Charles, my closest brother, and with my ex, who I still felt right to invite her and for her to come to Nepal with me still, although we had gone through something really challenging. It felt needed, for both of us. And it was on that journey we did many things. We did busking, fire spinning on the street, and performed at bars and things like that, and it was really beautiful. But it was the pilgrimage in Nepal, 2 weeks, going into the mountains in the Himalayas, and
What are you feeling?
Not really sure. I don't know. A mixture of things. It's emotion, but it's not very clear. It's like a mixture of grief, reflecting on this moment, this experience, one of the most impactful moments of my life, and how little actually I reflect on it, because of the people in that experience are very, very distant from me. And there's a lot of pain there in ways. And it's, people that have really been with me in those years, teenage years, and impactful moments, life-changing experiences that are either not in my life anymore or very distant and struggling to communicate or be with. And for this instance, it's my ex, who we've gone through so much, and is my ex, and we're not together anymore, and just kind of quite distant in ways. And my brother, who lives in India, and again distant. There's distance physically, but also it feels like emotionally, and in our connection. But there was a lightness when I felt it. There was just like quite a clarity in it, of just like just sort of not overwhelmed by it, but just like honouring. And it felt good to almost just allow space for that and reflect into that experience. But as you can tell, it was a life-changing moment for me, paradigm shifting, and one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. Trekking like 6 hours a day, 20 kg backpack, cooking our own food, camping to bring our tents, and we went off the main path. There was checkpoints on one route, and you got to do a trekking permit. And my brother, I wouldn't have done this without my brother. He's a few years older, he's travelled a lot, came from India, took like five days of buses and things to get to Nepal. And we travelled and did 2 weeks of really a deep pilgrimage into myself. And there was one moment where he really just reflected to me the ego and how it's been playing out. And this was the first time I remember it so well, and he just said it to me, and I was in a space, I was able to receive it, and wow. And actually the first time the light was just shined a little bit on the ego, or even educated on what the ego is, you know. And it was hard to receive, but also very like very awakening in ways. And then we went up just through these like incredible trees, and it was misty. It was like a different world. It was like Harry Potter, and just a voyage. And it was monsoon, so it was just cloudy most of the time. Barely saw sun, barely saw the mountains because of the monsoon and the clouds. And a lot of it you go to see the mountains, the breathtaking view as well. And we're at one guest house. We're about to go up to the next main, the final camp, third or fourth camp to get up to the top and kind of the base camp. Two guys come down who are coming down from there, and we chat with them, connect, and they show us a photo of them at the top, cloudy, and they're like, "Get ready for this, guys." I mean, yeah, it's obviously, you know, it was great, but this obviously...
They showed you the view before you even got there. Yeah. I think that's unfair. I would never do that.
There was no view. It was just mountain.
No, I know. No, I know. Even so,
I know. Yeah,
that's
true.
Funny.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's like this moment that you're waiting for.
Yeah.
Someone goes, "Have a look at this."
Have a look at this, mate. You've been
you
trekking.
Go up there. Just have a look.
Yeah. You've been trekking for 2 weeks. Have a look. Yeah, the hardest thing you've ever done in your life, but you'll see nothing really. And we were like, okay, but there was something we felt. We were like, we're on a pilgrimage here. This is deep, and we feel like we're still going up. We're not going to not. We go up, trek. We get up at like 3:30 in the morning. The moon's out still, and we come. It was beautiful, bro. The full moon was shining on the mountains, and it was clear. Get up for the sunrise. We get up there, and bro, it was heaven on earth. It literally felt like heaven on earth. We were above the clouds, 5,000 meters up. Clouds just parted over. They just, and we just see fishtail, which is the Machu Picchu is the mountain called fishtail because it looks like a fishtail. One of the most breathtaking mountains I've ever seen. I've got a tattoo of it here, and absolutely, yeah. It's also because if we were in a helicopter and we just got dropped off there, it's very different to trekking for 2 weeks, 20 kg bag, and also doing some deep work on myself, opening up to that for the first time, and just sitting there and taking it in, and just tears rolling down. And yeah, maybe that was the first time I really felt a deepening in gratitude and nature, deepening in my connection with nature and with myself, and being touched so deeply by the beautiful grace of Mother Earth, and also working truly hard for something, like physically and emotionally and whatever else. That for me was humbling, and come back to your question, a point where things shifted and motivated me to bring change into my life.
I didn't know that. You never told me that story.
Yeah, I don't, and it's just interesting reflecting on it. And how often do I reflect on certain experiences when I don't have the people around me who were in them to reflect on them, or the space to even talk about it in a way that is like, yeah, I don't know. I'm around so many people now who are just incredible. They've made me who I am now in ways of they've helped, show us the 5 closest people, and I'll show you your future. It's like a saying, and I really feel that the 5 closest people I know are just like, wow. I'm like, and it makes sense of who I am today in many ways, and of course the work I'm doing as well, and it's a sort of mutual exchange. But in that, there's one person who knows me, who's still with me in ways, and has been through it all from 11 years old, and that's Tommy G.
And he gets it.
And he sees more of me, and is able to see more of me, and only he can, and maybe a few other people, but who's really still with me, just by my side, and no one else can. And even people that have known me for the past 2 years and have been on this journey, this new sort of rebirthing in a way, know me deeply of who I am now, but yet just can't know truly who I was in a way. And I can tell and I can share stories on it, but to actually live it with someone and be there and support and go through it and still be with you through that challenge, pain, trauma, discomfort, and then still be with you through these chapters and be by your side, is something that is a treasure of life, of it's the gold. And I think I feel blessed that it's the quality, not quantity. Like, yeah, someone like Tommy G is a true gem, a true brother. We even said it, like, he's the love of my life, and we said it back to each other. And hearing that from a brother, a man as well, and saying that and feeling it, like, wow, yeah, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. I feel like I have a few love of my life's kind of feeling, but it, as a brother and a man, hearing that and feeling that is like, wow, that was so healing for me. Deepening in intimacy with men for me is so powerful, so healing for me. And that's, eye gazing, that's having a embracive hug, holding hands. Me and Tommy G hold hands at times in the car when we're talking, and these little things, yeah. And I'm like, wow. And we just look at it and we're like, wow. And growing up in an all boys school, the term, oh, that's gay, oh, that's gay, all these things. I think a lot of people can relate with this. I'm sure. I know you can, Chris. There's a certain conditioning there and a certain programming in that way and I'm curious how much that's affected me, and I'm looking and seeing it, how much it does. And so now actually just being intimate and it not being called gay, or me not thinking it is gay, it's like, no, it's beautiful, and it is so healing for us.
It's necessary.
It's necessary.
It's the healing that has to take place.
Yeah.
I think if that's not a part of reflecting on our lives as men and understanding how that's come at a cost and a distance to other men and a mistrust and it's the biggest wound, really. And to have brothers around us, I think it's so inherent, it's so necessary. If we haven't got that, then we're going to suffer. Why is it so important for you to have people around you that really know the depths of you?
That's a great question.
Because that, to some people, might not approach that life like that.
Yeah, to have people around me who can hold and acknowledge and love the depth within me and be curious to explore these depths or is fundamental in my journey. And I feel like I've lacked that, especially in my teenage years. I wasn't feeling met in the depth, and I feel like I was suppressing it or confused by it, almost in a way of like this depth that's there, but I'm struggling to access it and things like this. And really, it was Embodiment, the men's retreat 2 years ago, that changed everything for me. And yeah, men's work in general, I can't speak any more highly of it and recommend it for any man to at least experience and try, just to try and just give it a go, and then see how you feel afterwards. And that could be an online group container, that could be a day workshop, that could be a 5-day workshop, whatever it may be. It could be a men's coach, whatever. I feel like there's such needed healing for men to have that. And in that space, it was really felt like one of the first times of really being met in my depth and being inspired to explore my depths, being given tools to explore my depths, to have older brothers who can really help guide me in these depths and understand, like, this is quite scary and dark in here. How do I, okay, it's cool. This is what we can, this is how we do it. And this is how I've done it, or, sharing from your own experience. And yeah, Men's Expedition and Zach Avery, Lawrence, are just like such dear brothers to me. And I salute them, for paving pathways for people to really to follow and to learn from and to be supported, because men of all age, and that's what's beautiful in these men's spaces, is like so many different ages. You've got 60-year-old, 50, 40, myself in 20s, and it's like we're all connecting in this pain that we feel as men, in these wounds. And then the sense of belonging is I'm tasting it. I'm like, ooh, I'm tingling as I'm saying it. It's like goosebumps, because what that opened up for me, I can see it literally, what that opened up. The ripples, the doorways it opened up. It led me to then Primal Gathering, and that was because Zach Avery and Medicine collab with it. And then Primal Gathering, I met Benji, met Playfight, and so much just opening, expanding, and keeping, and then meeting more people who can meet me in that depth. And it's like it's so important to me, and I feel because I'm exploring how deep I really am, and it is quite scary and quite intense at times, the depths, and at times struggling to find people who can meet me at that, but then also not expecting someone to meet me at that. I think before I felt like wanted them to, or expected them to meet me there, or I've projected like certain things, and it's like, actually, no. Everyone's in their own journey, in their own process. Who am I to expect someone to meet me where I'm at? I'm the only person who's ever gone through any of all of this. I'm the only one who can truly understand or understand what I'm going through and actually hold myself.
Yeah.
I can't put that on anyone else to hold me or support me. And as I've let go of that and just accepted that more and more, it's actually allowed space for people to come in and truly hold me in the way they can. And for me to not be dependent on it, but allow that space. And then I've felt held in ways that I cannot explain these past few years, 2 years, in ways that I cannot explain. And I am so grateful. And it really is molded me and shaped me into who I am today in so many ways.
Yeah, I feel you can only hold yourself to the depth which you know you need to hold, and that needs to come first. Like, it's about connection, but connection to ourselves. But what keeps coming up in this conversation is like having people around me that allow that, that really accept that, and it doesn't disturb their reality. It doesn't make them feel uncomfortable or triggered or like a certain way that they can't hold. So when you have many people around you that can hold themselves in their grief, in their sadness, in their anger, in their joy as well, and actually embrace all those sides of themselves, when you've got people around you that can do that, it's just permission for you to just be in it. And you can't do it alone. It's like, yes, you need to do it alone, but you can't do it alone. And those two truths existing. And when that happens, and I've witnessed this within you, it's like the biggest thing that's happened this past 18 months really of knowing you, is just noticing you stepping into different experiences, wanting to go deep, wanting to explore, wanting to meet your edge because of this calling that you have. And we might put words to it, but it's also like, it just seems like a progression, like a real natural deepening in a progression, and the things that you just want to move into. I've just seen that over this time, and it just unfold. Yeah. And calling in people around you to do it with you, really. Being open to that.
Thank you for that, brother. It's so empowering and humbling and just magical when the people around you, the tribe and the people that have supported me, reflect that back to me of the progression, and noticing and seeing the journey evolve and expand, and the work I'm doing. When I'm acknowledged for the work I'm doing, it's like, it's so, I can't put it to words. It touches me so deeply and empowers me more to continue on this work, because it's not easy work. But when people see it, even from a distance or through Instagram or when I facilitate or whatever, it's fuel. It's putting logs on the fire. But it touches me so deeply, because I see the work, I see the influence, and that it is working, and that it is being received, and people are seeing the impact I'm having, and because I work so hard on it, and I give it everything. It's not like I'm half in it. I can't be half in it. Like, it's like you said, a calling and a mission, a purpose, and it's becoming more. I'm seeing it with more clarity. I'm feeling it with more depth and understanding in it, and I can know more of the direction it's almost like a ship, and the compass, and it's like where my teenage years, it was just like, whoa, okay, I know I'm going somewhere over there, but it's like, okay, where when the people are on, like, hey, you wanna climb up there and we can, yeah, all right, and I'll just leave the steering wheel, and it's like, whoa, and then I'm up there like, wait, but what about, yeah, I don't know, yeah,
Who's driving
this? What's going on? It's fine, it's just, yeah, it's fine, man. And then, yeah, like from these past few years, like actually getting off from the top and being like, guys, I'm gonna go down, and actually I need to steer the ship, guys, or else we're not gonna get anywhere.
Probably put my seatbelt on as
Probably.
well.
I'm gonna put down the vodka, and I'm gonna maybe keep the joint sometimes to help with. But then I'm gonna climb down this, and my mates are maybe gonna stay up there as well, or maybe they'll leave the ship.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll leave the ship, and something they have.
The abandoned ship.
Yeah, abandoned ship, and that's okay, and that's what's needed. And
have you made anyone walk the plank?
That's a good point. It's we did.
Sometimes necessary.
Yeah, it's true.
Sorry, you're not welcome here.
Walk the plank, matey. That kind of thing. It's now feeling like, okay, I'm on the steering wheel, and I'm just clarity of just like, right, this is the direction, but knowing it's not like a point of like, okay, I got the direction now, got it, sweet. It's like no. It's going to continuously change. The storm will come that might take me a bit off path. It might be, oh wait, and it's about recentering, and that's the continuous process.
Well, it's got sails, right?
There we go.
Sometimes we think there's an engine. Keep going. Let's keep going. Let's really rinse this analogy.
Yeah.
So there's sails. So you got to be aware of the elements, our forces that are at play.
Yeah, man. It's a beautiful point.
Sometimes we're just like,
exactly.
We'll just create more fuel. Like it's unlimited. It's fine.
And at times I got to let go of the steering wheel and let the sails and the wind take that direction as well.
Mm-hmm. Trust a little bit.
Yeah. It's a.
Where are we going again?
Where am I going? Is this just a story?
What work have you been doing, Benny? That's what I want to ask. What work have you been doing?
Very broad, very. Where to start? What work have I been doing?
What is the work?
I've touched on it already about in a teenager, and sort of, it's integrating, allowing space for the deeper parts of myself that have been locked away in a room, opening the room up and saying, I'm here, it's okay, I got you, bringing them in and holding that part of me, that younger self. And that is just like the deepest work, or for me, I feel like some of the most important work we can do as humans. And it's becoming more and more real for me. I feel like I thought the work was about play and bringing play to people's lives, and it is, but there's a deeper calling that's coming more and more, because this is the work I feel has changed my life, and about creating that container for myself and for other people to drop into their bodies, to feel themselves, have permission to feel themselves and feel safe enough in the container that they can really heal and learn to love these parts of themselves that we weren't given guidance of how to love. And it's not saying that I have the answers at all. It's actually creating the space for people to understand that they have the answers. And that's the thing that I'm learning as a facilitator, as a coach, whatever it may be, is like, no. Actually, less is more. And actually, if I can just more tune in with what's really needed now for this space, whatever space we're in, what I'm in, what's really needed, and then letting go, getting out of the way, and allowing source, an energy to come in and direct and give the guidance. Then it is so purifying. I feel facilitating and coaching and being in these spaces, and then also being in a space where I can witness facilitation and be a participant still, and you know, being in that balance of that as well, because learning from other people, and it's a continuous learning. I'm always learning from others like yourself, and always realizing I'm the student, always coming back to that, and at times taking a coach or facilitator role, and but then bringing back.
Mm-hmm. So what work have you been doing?
I
want to talk about,
I know,
18 months ago. Let's just say this last 2 years. I haven't got an agenda here, don't worry.
No, I know. I realised that.
like,
When I ended it, I was like, I want to...
It's beautiful. And it is so important
that
you have this space to communicate this stuff, because people see you. We're at Ansel opening. Oh, here now. You haven't left. Ansel opening 2 nights ago, and you're around, you're playing, you're dancing. You on a dance floor is just the ultimate expression. It's just divine watching you just play and just be in the moment so fully. And when people see you and they meet you, you're playful, but like there's this such big depth, and I don't want anyone to ever feel that that's all like the way I play. Like I really, that's what I see it. It's got such depth, and it has such power and potency to just hold all the things that you're talking about. And it's that transformation you can go on. This isn't just climbing trees.
Yeah.
This isn't just rolling around on the floor. It's so much bigger than that.
Yeah.
It is transformative.
Yeah.
And it's transformative because you and Benji are holding it, and the work that you're doing and have done these past 2 years, really. If I can, say that, like these past 2 years, like the work you guys have been doing. So yeah, I'd love to hear a bit more about that. And when that fed in, when did it start making sense to you that this was the way?
Okay. Yeah, I know this is going.
But whatever that means for you.
No, what came up for me then was just like, understanding thank you for shining light on that and bringing awareness to, and I feel like there can be a image of me or a perception of this playful, very expressive, wow, being, and very energetic and whatever else, and like high vibe, and just
people have their own perception of what that means,
of course,
right?
Yeah.
And people might avoid it.
Yeah.
People might move towards it.
Yeah.
But sometimes we can have this perception of whoever's outward facing, that's them. We'll kind of put them in a box, and I'll fill in the blanks that aren't there, and I'll work them out. Stereotypes, that's how they exist. And when you see people show up online in a certain way, it's we can define what that is because we're safer, because we know what it is, and we're trying to make sense of the world. Yeah. But yeah, it kind of feeds into that.
What came up as well is vulnerability is the superpower. Is feeling like being vulnerable, allowing the emotions to come up in a space where I'm witnessed by that, witnessed in my full emotion, in my pain, in my joy, in whatever it may be, in my gratitude, and whatever my wounds, has been some of the most. It's been the catalyst for this. I feel like that is a lot of the work. That is the work. Is processing it and moving through these emotions and feelings and traumas in my own space and in my own time, but then actually bringing that to the world and showing and revealing that side of me, and that is scary. And yet that is what I feel like the work is. A lot of it is revealing that part, is crying, is being vulnerable with people, because it is a gift. It's a gift to others. When you're in this container, I mean, you're not walking down the street, and you could be, and then it's about also having that container where you can feel safe enough to open up and explore these things, which I feel like I've been in these continuous containers for 2 years, continuous containers of these safe spaces or brave spaces, and it's a gift for others because you're giving permission You're allowing them to feel into it themselves. You know, we see someone crying, we feel. I mean, we naturally do, and there's certain degrees of feeling of how much we feel towards that. It evokes emotions. It might evoke sadness within ourselves, and that's then giving a mirror of just, ooh, okay, if he's doing it, and especially if I'm facilitating and I'm crying or being a bit vulnerable, and learning that balance of not fully opening it and releasing and crying, but having it's a real skill that I'm learning,
balance.
like allowing the emotion because it comes, and I'm not going to suppress it. I don't want to do that. I want to also, you know, who am I to expect others to be vulnerable if I'm not, as a facilitator, as a coach or whatever it may be. So it's like a moment in Love Jam, I saw two kids play fighting in the middle, and I know you can rate two sort of a 6-year-old, 8-year-old, and a tall big kid as well. And they were play fighting, and they were brother and sister, and it deeply touched me to a point of like, wow. I know you can resonate with this. I would have loved spaces like this when I was younger with my brothers play fighting. We play fighted a lot, and there's a lot of pain there, a lot of trauma in ways that, we didn't have that safe container, safe words, the rituals, things like this. So now I'm creating spaces where kids can come in and explore that in a safely held way, and rather than create traumas, create loving bonds and memories and deepening in their relationships. Just getting tingles of it. It's confirming I'm on the right path in a way. And then them saying some beautiful words, and then me crying, and then the circle holding me, that I'm facilitating them kind of holding and saying beautiful words, just medicine for my soul, and saying how, just shining a light on me and me receiving that and allowing the tears, but then remembering, oh, okay, I'm also facilitating at an event with 60 people with Benji, and there's 3 circles going on, and it's still gotta be in the space of, and it's just presence. It's just about tuning into that presence and that space that's there. So yeah, man, I appreciate you shining light on the depth that is in the way of play, and that to have the play, have the joy, have the extreme highs of that, we've got to venture to the extreme lows of sadness and grief and pain. We've got to, in a way. And I feel like I've been doing that these past years after a deeply heartbreaking sort of period of a few days at a festival, and going through some core wounding that was coming up through a ceremony being held by women, a lot coming up, being cracked open, and the universe just cracking me open. And I felt generally like a dying process, and a being of like a rebirth through the cracking open of my heart in a way, and me feeling it. I'm not going to run away from it. I can't help but feel it. It's there, it's present. And then me and my ex breaking up after that, a day after, and us going separate ways for a bit after a 6-year relationship. And this period was generally like the universe just broke me down bit by bit. I felt like it was like a grenade just went inside of me, just like exploded me open into loads of different pieces. And it was then a journey of me kind of being rebirthed into that, and then seeing what pieces were there, and actually understanding, okay, well, wow, actually, this is okay. This is what I need to, I knew when it happened, this is what I need to go through in the moment. And I've had this ability, I feel, and I'm developing it, of a wider perspective lens of life and what's happening, of a more, you could say, eagle view of the situation. And so I'm not so heavily into this egoic identity of what's happening. There's a balance of both that, and then also but it's needed. I need to go through this. This is for my spiritual journey, my growth, this is what's needed, the pain, the lessons in this. What am I learning? What medicine is this? And that's what it really brought me, and it continues to. And this sort of reprogramming in a way, because it almost like broke away the programming I had before in ways, or my beliefs, my belief system, my conditioning in ways, and it's still there, but it broke a certain level. And maybe also like the Jill from a Menti movement talks about the ego structure, and we have an ego structure, and in ego deaths, that ego structure dies, and then a new ego structure is born. in that way that we're then constructing a new sort of self that is emerging. We need an ego in our life, of course. It's not, it's seen in certain ways that it's a bad thing and that we need to dissolve the ego. That's what I believed for a year or so in my sort of spiritual awakening. It was like, dissolve the ego. And I'm like, wait, what? No, we need the ego. This is our friend. Let's befriend the ego. This is our companion. But just not letting him drive the ship in a way, and letting the heart, the spirit, the soul to drive the ship, and the ego can do the selves, and it can come and tell jokes, and it can be here and bring that level of expression and flavor, a unique flavor in our life that is there. That it's not just the spirit and the soul, but there is this flavor of what we wear and how we talk and how we express ourselves and.
You ever met someone without an ego, or what you would describe as doesn't have an ego? Because I think they exist. I think you have the picture of someone sat on a rock somewhere and just meditating constantly. But I think it's interesting to think about things in that way, because there is this kind of Western demonization of what the ego really means, and no ego here, no room for the ego. Leave your ego at the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, no, bollocks. I don't think that is the right way to approach this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that you have that approach as well.
What do you see as the ego? What's your?
It's your identity, really. Just the mask that we wear, and we need them. The identity, the label, Chris, and who I think he represents.
And what's your relationship like with your ego?
I see it as I see it. There's an observation. Everything you just described, I was like, yeah, I see that as the observer. So in a moment where I'm in deep pain, sadness of things not going the way I want, in relationships, in life, I then start to have this approach of like, this is necessary, it's needed, and I have an observation of it. So it's like the bird's eye view. But I was going through it the other day when I was chatting to you this week, and I was like, I can observe all of this, and it separates me from it, so it makes the suffering easier, but then I still need to go through it. So how do I find balance with actually being with my ego and not just dissociating from the pain that my ego is actually going through?
Yes.
And that's a great way to see it, like the death of the identity of whatever identity I've formed that needs approval from certain people. That needs to it's not serving me anymore. Like, I need to stop seeking approval, because that part of my identity which relies on being seen in a certain way or respected or admired, it's like contracting, and I don't need it. So yeah, it's nuance, It's not. I couldn't really define what my relationship with the ego is right now. It's fucking needed. I need to wake up in the morning and know how stuff is gonna move, because I've had these moments of just complete and utter spiritual awareness of, let's take me living in this van and moving around, and I have this kind of observation view, and it can really absorb everything I'm doing, and it's not fucking healthy. It's not healthy to have such a spiritual perspective on everything. It feels overwhelming for me at times if I'm constantly in that state of oneness. I'm like, no, let's get back to the ego, and let's just have fucking be in our bodies, which is a being in our ego.
Yeah. That's what I was going to touch on, actually. Yeah, talking about the pain of the ego, and then pain in the body, and the trauma that's stored in our body, or the pain that's there, or the younger selves, or whatever. How are they linked, the ego and the body? And you kind of just said it there, of the ego is us in our body. But then
I guess it's not though. Also,
it's
because the ego's it's the mind forms it.
Mind forms it, and the body, has the heart, and has the.
It's an idea, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very mental.
Yes. Yeah.
Although it's still in your body.
It is, exactly. Yeah. Not having a separation of mind and body, or the mind, the head, the brain is
For
It's
sure.
part of it.
Mind body loop.
Loop.
So take us to where Playfight featured in the journey.
Yeah, Playfight. Yeah, man, that's been such a, again, catalyst in a way. Yeah, Primal Gathering, where I met you, where I met so many beautiful beings. Tribe, really felt like tribe was formed in ways there with certain individuals, and even people that maybe I didn't connect with so much, and yet there's this like, yeah, you're in Primal, yeah, and this sort of like, wow, such a yeah, it was such a, again, I want to say catalyst, but like just such a, the ripples after that event for so many people, it just shifted so many people in ways. I feel of like they were going this way, and then they were shown or felt a new like path of like, wait a minute, whoa, oh, that feels, even saying that, it's like, because I can relate so deeply with, for me with that. I saw Playfight on the schedule, and a lot of people did, and they were like, you one of them as well, like, Playfight, what is that? For me, like I said, I did a lot of Playfight when I was younger, and it was like, ooh, and it was this feeling like, going to the yurt, there's like, I don't know, 50, 60 of us adults, and we're all just a few kids, and before it was starting, we're in the circle, you might have seen me, but I was just jumping with excitement. I was just like, I knew, there was this knowing of like, this is something right here. It's something's going on, and something's going to happen here that's going to, oh yeah, man. And it was 1 hour workshop, a 1.5 hour, 1 hour, it was 1 hour, and then we did half an hour after play fighting. Such a small amount of time that can completely change someone's life. That just blows me away. That just like, yeah, it brings me like, as facilitating now and building and a community and whatever else and retreats, it's like just seeing that 2 hours can impact, or even a 5-minute conversation with someone can impact someone so deeply, and it has for me as well. But yeah, in that workshop, I knew, and it was just so fun and playful, and it just met so many needs within me that have been deprived. And as a kid, like I said, not having these safe spaces, and the way of ending a play fight would be crying, being hurt, or crying and going to mum. There was no safe words. There was no way of saying pause. I felt like that was a bit intense, bro. Can you make sure that we just, and then that being heard and being like, yeah, for sure, man, I hear you. Let's not, none of that, man. It was just like fight, or it was playful, then it would verge into play fight. That was fun. Oh, you hit me quite. Then it's verging into fight. And then that fight, and then it brews into someone stopping, it being stopped. Either mum and dad coming in saying stopping it, or one of us being hurt.
First blood or something.
First blood, and then it's just like, that's just not healthy, bro. And it's this new way of play fighting, a new way of being, is, I feel so honoured to be bringing this to people. And then seeing the impact of a 2-hour workshop, someone messaging me afterwards and going like, even a message from a beautiful sister saying, that 2-hour workshop, a Love Jam, shifted so much. She sent videos of her and her brother playing. She said they haven't played like this since they were kids. Oh, bro, it's like, that is, wow.
Medicine.
That is medicine. And just from a 2-hour workshop, bro. And then she sends videos and she sends voice notes like, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing that of what Matteo and what Playfight brought me in that 1-hour workshop, to be bringing that to other people now. Yeah, man.
So what is Playfight? How do you even describe it to people? Because the word everyone knows.
Yeah.
So when you say it, there's already baggage there. Mm-hmm. But it does describe what it is, really. But there's a definition.
Of course, and you're right. There's a preconceived idea beforehand, and then I usually actually don't tell people now, and I actually just
Really?
Well, no, I might tell them if they really ask, but I'm just kind of like, just come and try it out, and because I know that it will shift, and I know just experiencing it, how we hold it, and how it's held, and how the flow of it. Then afterwards, they're like, "Whoa, I did not expect that." That was,
sure.
But still, of course, having a definition, which I've been trying to actually understand myself and explain. When my mum and dad ask me, or other people ask me, and I'm like, giving like new ways of like actually answering it, because it is hard to kind of put it into words. And yeah, I'd like to now and try.
No, just can't.
Forget it. Too long a pause. No, Playfight in the way that it is held through this sort of lineage that Matteo has sort of constructed is grounded with 4 rituals of, having a circle. You go in, you invite someone openly, or you directly invite them. You can create the space as you want. It's a playground. It's a canvas. It's not a fight. It's not a martial art. It's a ritual. It's a ceremony of the person coming in the middle and sharing their intention, their truest their heart's desire of what they want to create and what they want to move through, what they might want to emotionally move through, what they want to experience. They want to be, I want to be really primal and be an ape and be a gorilla. I want to be really soft and flowy. I want to, there's also intentional play fight, which is a whole other thing. It's kind of like family constellation, and you role play, and that for me has been some of the most impactful moments in play fight and in my life, actually, of wow, role playing, and then also almost somehow reenacting it through a play fight, and it, pausing and then moving through and then letting the emotion out, and then wow. And for me, this is something I'm going to be diving into more next year. I feel it's hard to have a space for it. Festivals, it's too short a time, even like it's a deep process, and it needs at least a day or two to really like actually go into it and dive into it. And yeah, the rituals. So yeah, invitation, you invite someone in, and then you have an encounter. You encounter them. You sort of share your needs and any injuries. You have, let's say, 3 minutes. It's not like you pin someone down and then you win. No, the whole point is you're both winners. And for me, it's developed so deeply my relationship with competition. Like I've said, growing up with 3 older brothers, a lot of masculine presence, a very competitive atmosphere. My dad quite competitive as well, and so it's been very competitive, and this idea that like, no, I've got to be on top of you, I've got to dominate, and this is kind of more the societal way as well of competition, of like competing against the other, and I've got to be better than you to feel also a deeper sense of self-worth, that I am good and that I'm worthy. This is from my experience. With Playfight, it's completely reconstructed that idea of competition. Collabspedition. This is what Benji sort of says in the collabspedition. Let's say that, where you're collaborating with each. We'll work on the name. Where we're collaborating with each other to strengthen, to empower each other, to meet each other's edges together in a more conscious way, that we can like understand each other's edges and maybe just like play with them. But I see it as this like, instead of, it's this sort of spiraling up together, and at times you are a little bit above, but it's this moving, and it's this, you want to see this, yeah, it's this and this is the play fighting, you could say as well, is this kind of like, yeah, this journey, and this sort of, and there is that fight element, you got to pin the other person down for 3 seconds, and that is so vital, I feel, because it does evoke that competition within us. But with the safe words of pause and stop, and these types of things, and the rituals, it really grounds it, and it really brings a presence and a depth, which a lot of people don't actually probably expect, is the depth that can be brought in Playfight. And that's also how I hold it, and how I want to bring is that emotional space for emotions to be released. And Matteo also does this as well. And then you Playfight, and then appreciation. You share appreciation to the other. You hold hands. Such a beautiful ritual. But you're also, in this whole process, witnessed by a container, by a circle of people, which is...
would be very different without that.
Exactly. Because then we get to the 4th ritual, which is feedback, where the circle can share from their experience how that felt for them and what moved inside of them. And it's so beautiful because it allows, the container and for other people to realise, oh, I'm part of this experience as well. People don't even have to play fight. And people have come out of a workshop that I've held, and they're like, whoa, that moved so much in me. I learned so much. They didn't even play fight. We've got mirror neurons where we literally feel, and like this is go back on my point of feeling what someone's going through, and you see a dynamic play out of a woman and man, and maybe the man's being a bit aggressive, and that can evoke so much within us because of our past experiences and dynamics that might have happened as well. And so much can get stirred, and then you have a chance to share it at the end, which is so beautiful, of what moved inside of you. And like that's probably the clearest, best definition I've given of play fight. Somewhat, I don't know. but it's also, there's a space to talk about it. And
You got lost in the intentional play fight.
I
But
did.
It's a very
I
important
did.
piece.
I like, because it is, man. It's a piece that I haven't explored yet.
You know, there's a space for it.
There's a space for it, but for me to facilitate, I haven't really done much of it because it's hard, bro.
I feel like that's where me and you meet,
Mm.
potentially, because I'm so drawn to that.
Yeah.
I'm drawn to the depth. I'm drawn to the to the meaning making and the creation of something really hard hitting, you know. So yeah, I'm all about that.
Yeah, man, it's coming.
Amazing.
It's coming.
Okay, and even the circle. Let's not underestimate the circle. We don't exist much in those spaces.
Yes.
So I think that's a big piece as well, just being in circle.
Bro.
And that being enough to just like, wow, this is what it feels like.
Definitely.
And then there's something moving in the middle, but within me, and that chance to share and to practice like communicating from this place rather than external constantly. There's so many pieces to it. I think the simplicity of it is also the biggest gift. Yeah, beautiful, man. I mean, I know the potency of the space, and I just,
How was it for you, the first workshop, Playfight? And
there's a big moment.
Yeah,
I think we connected over this as well, and watching two young kids not really do a lot. They were just kind of like holding each other, like they were kind of they weren't doing much, but you've got I don't know, but 40, 50 people in that circle, and like there was tension, there was like uncertainty, fear coming up within me and everyone, and it's just like, what's gonna happen? It was such suspense, but also trust. Matteo, trust, unwavering trust of just like watching these two young kids, and like there was probably a lot moving in there that they don't have the words for, which we could kind of feel, and it was just powerful because within me, it's a big reflection of whatever is happening in the middle, in the arena, is really very separate to what's happening within me. And it has the space, it has the capacity to just hold that mirror up and really reveal that mirror. So it's not actually the truth. Whatever you're feeling is not the truth. It's just real. Just what's in you is real. And it wasn't their truth. They didn't feel scared. I thought they were scared. So we can really understand this projection piece, which is what we do in life. We then project our mistrust or lack of safety or fearfulness of what's going on in another. And really, checking in with them is probably the best thing. And it just develops all these little pieces around like what is a better way of dealing with situations or our relationships. So in that first play fight, I was in tears. I was like, I just never had a space for this. So it was like part of me that was grieving, because I would have loved to have been held in that way and allowed. We didn't have to wait till the parents left the house to throw each other through the floor. It was like, you know what I mean, like we'd wrestle and we'd have special moves, but it would just be frightening, actually. Quite frightening, because it wasn't really contained. It's such a metaphor for life.
Man.
Like, we need these systems. We need these containers. In our relationship, you know. Man, it does. It reflects so much out, Playfight, in a circle of how we play. How does one play in a game? And are you more on the defensive? Are you more attacking? Is there so much reflects outward? And I can see that in a play fight. How do you play fight? How do you cope with your emotions in that play fight, or whatever it may be? It's like it symbolizes a lot, and that's why I feel like I've learned so much in play fight. I've done multiple trainings with Matteo and done just different facilitator trainings and coach training, and been in that environment a lot this past year and a half, and it's just kind of exactly what I've been wanting my whole life, really. I feel. So when did the way of play start? When was that birthed?
Actually linking back to the heartbreak, the deep death and rebirth was then, really. It was like it was after a few weeks after. I mean, I feel like it's been birthed when I was birthed physically. Like, I feel like my whole life has been leading to this, the way of play. I feel like it's
feel pretty good.
yeah.
To really land on it. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Have a look at the logo.
The logo.
It's there.
Do you see it, guys? It is there, man. It's on the heart. Yeah, man. It feels like my whole life, I've been playful. I've been being directed through every experience to this. But to really look at a point where I was like, the way of play and felt it and saw it in more of a vision, you could say, was after the sort of ego death, heartbreaking, the collapsing of self, of ego structure, of identity, to then re-emerge with a new purpose, with also breaking up with my ex, where a lot of my purpose was with her and purpose of holding her in the relationship, and 6 years, a long time, through my teenage years and through to early 20s. And it was then a new purpose was emerging. And in that, I was also so humbled of the experience, and was so deeply into feeling my heart because of the heartbreak. I had no choice, but the heart was beating and present more than ever in my life. And with also the collapsing of self in a way, collapsing into my heart to understand what is my heart's longing and calling. And also all the pain that's buried in the heart and into my body, and allowing space for that. And it was the first time ever really in my life where I truly allowed space for this pain to guide me to my purpose in a way. And it did, and I kept following the thread. Literally, I went to Love Jam 2 weeks after the breakup with Benji, first time being without my ex at a festival. A lot moved, a lot happened, a lot of learning, a lot of pain, but did Playfight there, and it was one of the most impactful, powerful sessions I felt like I held, and I really felt on my power, seriously tender, and yet somehow was just like locked in and like facilitating 60 adults all just like wide-eyed, like at the end of the festival, kind of like sun was beaming. It was just this like energy that was tangible. I could feel it and taste it. And then it went on, like it finished an hour. It was like an hour slot, but we went off to the right and held a set circle for like 4 hours afterwards. It was magical. And then afterwards, 2 weeks in the Lake District with Benji. He invited me up, stayed at a friend's house, and this was it really. This was like the birthing of the way of play in many ways, and realign, like a deeper alignment with that purpose and the drive and the calling. And also feeling and holding each other, through this grieving process in ways. But being in the lakes, man, it was like it's like a home to me. It really is. The wildness of it, the landscape, the richness, the nature. Like me actually seeing, oh my gosh, the UK, bro. It's got more than just London and South London and Cornwall. Or my family trips that I've done. It's like there's a lot more. It's beautiful. It's rich. It's magnetizing. Yeah, it's got so much, and that was for me really opening up to that. And then like me and Benji started getting a camera out and just filming us fooling around. And then Alex comes, he got invited by Benji, met like with divine synchronicity, and they met at a church at Love Jam. He invites him over, doesn't really know him that much. He's got a camera, and then we just start filming the documentary that we're doing. And then that was just like, again, like a sign, like, okay, this is something going on right now. Why is this happening? And then we just start filming, and we do like a cave ceremony, and we're in a cave with fire, and just like so much happening in such a short space of time, and so much confirmation, like, this is it. Let's go. Let's keep going with it. This is the birthing of the way of play in ways. And we've captured it on film. Now I'm going to be creating and editing the documentary of it, which is a daunting sort of prospect or a thing that opportunity, which I'm super excited about. But it's a lot, and I'm starting that really soon. Like in this month will be kind of the starting of it. And then after that, man, it was just like following the thread and saying yes, and having this sense of freedom that I haven't had. Breaking up 6 years relationship before that, and school and the system. So this sort of freedom that I felt, and yes, deep pain, but this freedom was just like, yes, let's go, let's explore, let's taste more of what life has to offer, and to not worry about being held down in certain ways, and actually be free and fly. And I did for that year, just Playfight, did another training, men's expedition in Portugal. I went to an off-grid land, and just and actually, to bring it back to the Lake District, is where I met Charlie with Roots of Play and Opal. And actually, with the Lake District, it was that tribe helped me rediscover my deep love for tree climbing that I had as a child so deeply, and then I lost deep connection with that. And that just shows it's a little example of like, why did I stop tree climbing? Oh, because of lost and taken into a system that doesn't promote go climb a tree. It tells you to read a book that doesn't feel like it will help me. And that was truly special. It was a real feeling of tribe, monkey tribe, where I can climb trees and explore and feel this freedom and also this opportunities that can come. We held our first Roots of Play workshop, me and Benji, Chaz, Opal, and it was small, it was intimate, it was chilled, but it was like, wait, I can hold workshops of climbing trees. I can build a career of climbing trees and being playful, and that idea was never shown to me in my life at all. In school it's all about these different things of what you can be, but never the idea of, wait, I can bring people into a deeper state of aliveness, of joy, of harmony, of connection to themselves, to their calling. And that feels like a deep part of the way I play, is reconnecting or connecting with our calling and our mission and our gift, our unique gift to this world. I feel like everyone has one that's unique to them, and that's what I feel like a part of the way I play is, and what my mission is, to just create spaces where people can tap into that deeper part of themselves, because I feel like I was given guidance and help in that, so it's only like I want to give that back almost to other people, because I've been so supported in that mission.
What's your unique gift?
Still figuring it out.
Amazing. I did not expect that. I thought you were going to say, like, you knew it. It's so interesting. You don't need to feel it, it's like, yeah.
The reason I say that, I feel like there are different gifts of what, even what I just said then, of like creating space for that.
There's a lot of gifts.
It feels like there's a lot of gifts in a ways, but also one core one of that is just like, creating space for deeper embodied healing and deeper.
Why did you say you're still figuring it out?
Because I am. It's evolving. I think that
it's so interesting. I did not expect that.
I know. I threw you off. You didn't. I want to bring unexpected. I don't want to be a story that people know
Don't define me.
Don't define me with what you expect of me. But I want to say that because I still am. I don't want to say like concrete that this is my mission. I've got it. Sweet. Let's go.
No, our mission changes, but like your unique gift.
Unique gift. Okay, you're right. I feel.
What was the hesitancy? I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it?
I think you're right. I think
maybe you don't want to put yourself in a box. I don't know. Maybe the part.
Yeah. I think I'm sharing my unique gift now. I feel like my unique gift is my presence.
I think you know it.
I think I do know it. I feel like I do. Maybe there's a hesitancy to say it, or like say it that this is it, when actually it is this like presence is beyond words. Our gift. It's in action. It's in it's in that.
Maybe when you define it, it can mean less with words, because I can feel it, I can know it when I am embodying it or in a moment, sharing it with the world. I'm like, this is it. It's like a combination between the calling, what brings us so much purpose, but then also like, I'm fucking really good at this. I can do it. Exactly. It's a feeling, and it's a knowing when in that, like when I'm dancing and I'm in that flow, and it's like that in that moment feels like my unique gift that I'm offering to myself and to other people, to be like, people come up to me and be like, wow, like just like receive medicine from me dancing, or like felt so touched by me dancing. And then other things of play fighting or tree climbing. So it's the passion to move and to express myself through my body and move in an authentic, real, powerful way that is like I said, beyond words. It's beyond like labeling what it is, but it is so present within my body. I feel like my whole life
has felt embodied, or has directed me to my body in ways, doing gymnastics, high competition level when I was 7 to 11, like that's all body. There's no like, there's no like intellectualizing or needing of, like it's just body gymnastics and sports. I was rugby. I did so many sports, judo, skateboarding, martial arts. It goes on, and it's like a lot of that is so embodied, and so I feel like the unique gift in ways is also just deepening into my body and doing that work to be in the body and to create a space where and help with that, bringing people into their bodies in ways as well. But again, it's like there's just these things, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to define a unique gift into the words, but it's like, because I feel like we don't need to in a way as well. It's like you said, we're in it and it's there, and through the body is beyond words in ways. Yeah. Throwing a curveball. Didn't expect it.
What's that curveball?
You wanted to get a reel out of it. You wanted me to say unique gift. Well, it's this, and that would be a good little thing. But no, still figuring it out. Didn't expect it, did I? I threw Chris off. Look at that. Anyone seen that before?
Oh.
And that's it. It's bringing the balance of the play and the depth, and it's like, even in this podcast, in this conversation, it's like feeling the journey of the depth and then coming up for the play and the lightness, and it's so needed and balance of both of them. That's the way of play. Like I said, the way is the masculine structure and holding of the way that it's creating for the play, the feminine to flow through and to have that container of the masculine, and that's the divine journey of life and the sacredness of it all.
Great.
That's the good stuff.
I love it. Something that really hit me, it was like a new perspective when we did the Power of Play event a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh yeah, people come into this space because they're called, they resonate with playfulness and inner child, and a lot might be really comfortable with playing, being playful, being silly, doing games and just being in their bodies all day. Some people, it's an edge and they want to lean into it and they want more of it in their life. But what the play element did for me in that event, I was like, it does also shine a light on where we are not our adult self. And I was like, okay, yeah. Like, even for me, like, being playful for a whole day, I was like, fuck, like, part of me wanted to, like, start to be more serious, or, like, how much can I go with the play? But it was just, like, a lot of people you're going to meet are going to be really comfortable, like, playful in being in their play. But I guess the invitation for you as a facilitator then, maybe, this is what I was tuning into as a facilitator, like, learning more about the space. I was like, how could I, like, also, like, help that bridge? Because who knows what's needed for people. They know, but they're coming because they want to be more. They want to, like, discover more about themselves in a way. There is that flavor to it. It's like a curiosity to do some, like, inner work within it. But I don't know, like, it's going to go far and wide because people have so many different ways into it. But yeah, man, it's largely unknown, but it's exciting
and it's needed. And I've been very blessed at a young age to come into this work, and feel deeply blessed by that, because a lot of the men in these spaces are older. They are older, and they've gone through some real challenge in life, and then they come to it, and I felt like I've just been sort of fast tracked in a way, just to, like, straight to the work and straight to these incredibly enriching spaces.
It's wild that in 10 years you're going to be my age. That's wild. It is. It's like, how much is going to happen in those 10 years for you to be where I'm at now, in a way. But we all know. doesn't really mean anything.
No, yeah.
But like, it's still a factor of like, well, you still have so much time to dedicate, and the man you're going to be is just so one to know. It's great, man. I'm excited for human work as well next week.
I know, man.
I feel like lots going to come from that. I'm so glad.
And it's like also learning from people who are doing this work that I'm so deeply passionate about in different ways, different flavors of, emotional healing and different ways of healing, and someone like human work is been doing this work for a few years now, and definitely inspired by them and how they do it. So I'm really excited, and thanking you for inviting me into your team and being able to experience that. And it is for me always learning and always being like, wow, there's always so much that people ahead of me in ways of what the path I am on, in ways that I can learn from and continue to learn from. Zach Avery's one who chatted a few nights ago at the celebration for Jordan. Yeah, just like learn from them in ways that they made mistakes, you could say. I don't think there's mistakes, but ways in which they realized that didn't work maybe, or this worked better. And it's like, wow, I'm so willing to receive this beautiful knowledge and wisdom from elders in a way. I think it's so important and for me to continuously have this when I'm your age in 10 years, continuously have that. And I feel like that is what you have, this like humility of like, learning from elders, learning from older people continuously, and being humble and grounded in yourself, and knowing, being in balance of the work you're doing, and being proud of that. And I think there's such a space for that of like, wow, I'm doing something here. I'm proud of myself, the work I'm doing. I know I'm enough and worthy of all of this love, and then also this feeling of like, but there's more work to do. And I was chatting with Benji about this last night, and I feel in balance of both this in this moment of like that, and then also, but there's more. There's a lot more to become, to create for this world. And I love that. I love that is so, there's that hunger there and drive, and this like knowing of like, this is amazing, but this is only one page of this book that I'm creating. And it's about, like I said, being balanced, because at times I feel like I've been at too much of this, and like kind of like, okay, and then too much in here where I'm like, I'm not enough, I'm not doing enough. And it's not about that. It's like, but it's learning in balance, because that can fall into like, I'm not doing enough, there's so much more I could be doing, but it's just not enough right now, and these types of things, which I'm curious for you to speak on, actually, on a point of that, and to reflect it to you, because I've known myself of talking with you at times that there can be at times in this, and I feel a struggle to really see the impact you're having on people's lives and the work you're already doing. And I'm just curious for you to talk on that. You
struggle to see the impact.
No, this is my interpretation. No, of you. I'm talking about you. This is putting onto you. I'm just a question.
Yeah, should we switch seats? Yeah.
Interesting. Now, you know me, bro. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna play with you.
You play with the role.
If you want,
that's great. It's confusing because we're wearing the same clothes.
Yeah, man. I'm just curious.
Could you get some clarity on the question?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
How, in terms of feeling like, you have a big mission, and you have so much that you want to create and more to do. Thank you. I'm over here. Do you feel like at times you are? Do you struggle on that balance that I'm talking about? And at times do you feel like you are too much in this side of not feeling good enough, that you are not doing enough in a way, and that there's always more to do? Do you feel like you're here?
I feel like I'm at the beginning, always. I was on men's community call last night, and it was Balaam reflected to me. He said, this has changed my life. This has changed my life.
Oh, beautiful.
Just this community. Because we were talking about other facilitators and just got some sort of funny, reflections on other spaces and the podcast that I've been doing. And he was like, it's just one thing I love about you. You're just like, you just don't seem to have that charge around other facilitators or other, like, it's just like a sincerity to it. And it was great for me to receive that. I mean, sometimes I do have that, I'm pretending I don't. but I was like, I just feel like I'm so at the beginning. So see, I'm humble enough to know that I'm not at any point like complete.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've never arrived. So then it looks like I'm facing forward, but looking at what's in front of me, rather than turning around and trying to like teach everyone behind me in a way. You know. So I'm not like it's hard to define, but I'd say it feels like I'm at the beginning. It feels like I'm at the beginning always. The mission's a guiding light. I don't think you ever can complete a mission, but it also can change. I don't know, man. It depends what season I'm in. Like now I'm in a transition. I'm like, I'm going to park some things and then return to them. And now I'm prioritizing this, and it comes down to priorities. I don't know if you want to like recenter the question a little bit.
Are you proud of the work that you've already done and that you're doing now?
Yeah, I've never really connected to the proudness of things. I've never really felt proud. I don't know what that feels like. You know, when I build something or I, create something, I just don't know. I'm not attached to what I've done. It's good to reflect, and I feel a lot of peace and contentment of what I've chosen to do. But I don't feel necessarily proud. I do feel like I'm still at the beginning. Like I think it's a bit early to feel proud, if I'm honest. Like I'm very new to this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm deepening in training. I think that is what's called next for me. So like prioritizing that a little bit more, prioritizing a team, prioritizing like deepening on opening up to certain people a little bit more and developing a team. But yeah, I feel like I'm super early on this journey.
It's beautiful, man. It's incredibly humble of like how your perspective on things and how you navigate things and how you just like, and it's so true, man. I'm the same. Like as the deeper I go and the more I'm in this, the more I feel like I'm a beginner, because it more opens up and the more I can see and like whoa. But in terms of the proud, it's kind of interesting asking it, and it is an interesting thing, isn't it? Pride and like where it comes from, what's it feeding, and these types of things. And I agree as well. And then also there's a feeling of like, when you built this van and it was fully done and you looked at it, months of working on it, and you look at it, how do you feel?
It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
What's next kind of thing? It's
it's
I just
interesting.
Keep moving forward, and like I don't feel stagnant or there's nothing holding me back. I just feel like it just feels appropriate to just
Yeah, no, it's good, man. It's
now
beautiful. Yeah, and it's an interesting journey for me in sort of feeling proud. I feel like as a kid, I feel like I was in this kind of like just confident space of like, I'm proud of myself, of just who I am, of my what I'm, I guess, doing at a young age. And it's like, it's interesting how it can be linked with the ego and being proud and like, I'm proud of who I am. But I think there is an element that can be healthy, a healthy amount of just like, and it can help charge. It can, recognition of who I am, but then in balance that I'm not just heavily in this of like, I'm good, I'm proud, I've done enough. Like, no, like it's in that balance of like, oh, okay. And it kind of, I think, maybe links with self-love, but it's also understanding what's it feeding, where's that pride going? And it can it be directed to the heart and be like, just truly proud of that workshop that I held and the impact that it could have had in people's lives, and just be with it. And it's not that I'm going to be with it for months, but just like there's a certain period afterwards where I can reflect and just bring a sense of like, yeah, man, I'm proud of myself, because I feel like that can be really healthy for me, but then not being attached to that feeling, because it does soon very much go, because then I agree, it's what's next. So for me, it's a journey of that, like, and then, all right, I'm out of it, if it's an hour of a day or whatever, and then I'm like, okay, now what's next for me, and what can I now build upon that, but it's just not living in the pride maybe, but it's just having moments of, I'm proud of myself. I did well there, you know.
Yeah, maybe I need a little bit more of it.
I don't know,
I definitely feel like it's enough. It's enough to show up. It's enough to just organize an event. Whatever comes from it is going to be an addition. Or, you know, I have these like micro moments of this is already enough.
Yeah.
It's already enough to just be here right now. So I've got up this morning, moved my body, set up the space. It's already enough. Like I'm already feeling enough. I don't need anything more to try and complete me, you know. It's that kind of type of energy that feels more appropriate. And I have moments of reflection. But it's really important to consider. Like, I think reflection is so important. Just to create some space, like it's part of the integration of every experience that we have. And it's what's the ability to self-reflect, to just sit and create some time, whether it's in the morning or even in a ceremony. Like at the weekend, we were at a retreat and there was just a couple of hours just in silence. We were just in the room and it was just silent, and I was like, I don't do this enough. I don't just sit and just check all the thoughts that come in, because they're just stored and there's like a backlog of thoughts and things I just need to process. And that's what meditation is for me. It's like just allowing, coming, going. It's just kind of like sankharas in Vipassana. That's just like, it's all these things that are going to bubble up in the body or in the mind, and which need to be witnessed and then let go of. It's like, it's like the unread emails in your inbox. Anyway,
you've done a Vipassana?
You've done 2, yeah.
Have you? Oh, nice.
On my 30th birthday, and
nice.
that was that, and then I served one. Yeah.
Me too. Both in UK.
Yeah.
Which ones?
Hereford
You first did, and then Suffolk.
Hereford. No, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
It's
the exact same, right? Mirror, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you for sharing on that. And I think for me, just going back on the sort of being proud, it's I think can link with gratitude, and for me, being grateful, you know, for the work I'm doing, for who I am, how the workshop went. For me, gratitude feels like a very present feeling. Not all the time at all, especially in these past few weeks. It's felt like at times distant. But generally through my life, there has felt this kind of more positive outlook and more of a gratitude for even the pain and the darkest moments in ways, because of what it's teaching me. But yeah, after like a workshop or tuning in with that gratitude of just like, grateful for myself and grateful for how it went and grateful for the people that have come, and curious how if it links, you know, with just being that feeling of, or like redefining what pride is, redefining what being proud. Because I think as a kid I was judged, or being told that, like, you know, you love yourself. Even my brother would say that, like, oh, you love yourself, don't you, mate? Oh yeah. Because I think as a kid I did love myself. I had love for myself. I loved who I was, and as a child, and that's why I feel like I'm really connected, and I feel like my inner child's very present, because it links with loving myself, loving my creativity, loving my expression of who I am, and at times feeling like I've definitely been self-centered in that, and the ego's taken in that kind of charge, and it is a theme that I'm looking at and understanding in myself, of being, you know, self-centered, and where those traits come from, and you know, like it's a journey, isn't it? It's a bit of a paradox of like it's about, you know, like loving ourself, and it's kind of all about us in ways, but then it's also not, and it's like where that kind of the spiritual concepts can be quite like confusing in ways of like, but then I think they're not getting caught up in them. Like at times I've definitely just got caught up in them, and probably you have as well. You sort of showed there. It's like, I think I feel, and that's really it actually. It's just tuning into the feeling, the intuitive knowing, and actually seeing these concepts or ways from a bit more of a distant view, not being entangled into them, and actually being more, for me, just in the feeling, the intuitive knowing, and the intellect of the body, the heart, and then coming from this place up through to our mind, it naturally purifies the mind in a way, and purifies our thoughts. So it's not about thinking more positively or trying to stop the negative thoughts or actually just operating from here, and our heart will purify and naturally cleanse the mind in a way.
That's what dancing does.
Yeah.
It's like anytime I step into that space and create a space for like going into the moment a little bit more, going into love a little bit more, I can just be so, the best way to access it for me is through dance. It's like, there's nothing else but this moment. And it bridges everything. I've just so much time for that. Man. And the conversations that we have on dance floors and other people in the, the circles have. It's everything. I really think there's so much more that can be done in that space. Some people gravitate to it more. But what would it look like if everyone danced like you and me? What would it look like if everyone danced like themselves, but just like full on go there?
Because so much is caring of how we're seen. Like I can know in myself the journey of like dancing as a kid and just dancing for the love of it, and then teenage years like party, and you have this sort of dance of like, I feel safe in this, I'm cool, I'm caring so deeply how I'm seen in this, and then transitioning into more now where I'm like, I'm dancing fully how my body wants to dance. It's like letting go, getting out the mind into the body, and then I don't really choose how I dance. It's the flow, and it's the language of my body, and your body's completely different. This is a mentee movement kind of training, and how their methodology is like our own unique wisdom within our body. It's about dropping in there and allowing that body to speak, our body to speak, because there is so much wisdom and symbols and ways that we unlock to then suddenly realize, whoa, how I felt about that. Different ways that we get in different positions. It's just, it speaks so much. And once we can allow and learn how to just drop in and these types of things, we can discover so much in ourself, the wisdom.
Yeah, and there's a rhythm in that. There's a language in that. And then people that feel like they can't dance, for me that's just a symptom. And like people that feel rigid or stiff or stagnant in that place, it's just a symptom of something deeper. And so much more can be done.
But I feel like everyone can even dance. Dance, like what is the definition of dance? It's like, again, that's just comparing to someone else. That's dance, this isn't.
I think it's that more than anything. It's like what people feel isn't dance.
Yes.
Because when I ask men, I'm like, okay, were you taught how to dance? No, like no one teaches anyone how to dance, but we learn ways of how not to dance. We get taught how not to by other people's reactions and responses. So it's like, that's not appropriate. To men, it's like, how do you move your hips? Is it appropriate for you to move your legs, hips, arms in that way? And I think for men it's the biggest.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Features in way of play, of course.
Can
create a little dance floor.
That's it, man. I mean, with the thing that's coming up with me and Barry, which we're organising, a little like 2-day retreat in December. Hopefully we're still finalising it, but that's going to be much more kind of, it's inspired by a mentee kind of ways of like, journeying through the elements into our bodies, and allowing that movement of things I'm already talking about, allowing the emotion to arise, to come through each element is linked to different emotions, different traumas, different selves, or whatever it may be. And it's like, that's what I feel I want to bring more into the way of play, into my life in general as well, actually dancing through it. That's what Tommy G actually recently has been doing as well, is he says like, man, dance through it. Something arises, let's dance through it and move through it. And it's just beautiful to see that in him and how he's bringing that. So I feel like that's what I want to bring, and what we want to bring more is that healing in dance and movement. And way of play is all about movement and these types of things, but dance specifically and creating a space. Just there's no teaching of how to dance, but teaching of just like a space just to move our body and understand like that's it. We should having that space just to wait, no one's judging me, I can just move it. Okay, cool. Okay, let me close down the eyes. Okay, whoa. And it's so simple. It's actually simplifying more. Has more of an effect.
So true. What's next for you, man?
Many things. What's next for me?
What does the winter hold?
The winter holds deeper reflections, deeper exploration into myself, as you can probably guess. Can't really help it. Don't have a choice in the matter. No, I do, but I want to. I want to explore more in the depths and understanding more of my wounds, because then I can really understand more of who I am. And I feel like I'm learning there's so much wisdom in the wound itself, and the pain and the scar. But yeah, also just to keep expanding in the way I play, keep diving into this mission and expanding the community, creating the structure and the frameworks, the systems in place for the way I play to really have the solid foundation, because it needs it for where it's going and for where these next years is going to take it. So just creating that solid base and how that looks, and it's all very new. I feel like I'm winging a lot of it. We're winging life in general, but this is all like, whoa, it's a lot. So it's kind of like taking it slowly and organically. Yeah, this is what George just said recently to us. It's like just taking it slowly. Don't, because all at once it's kind of like so many opportunities, so many things, and I'm like yes, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, what's actually needed right now for this next year? Yes, we want to do all these things, but actually, like, what do we want to? How do we want to really move forward? And what's the best thing for this baby, this entity, this energy that? Yeah, how can we feed it best? So we're doing retreats, and we're going to be doing more things like that. Way of play spaces at festivals is sort of next year. Allowing financial income to come through and really like create the streams for that to come through, because it's there, it's wanting to, and it's starting to. But understanding how we can, create the pathways for that. But the community, man, like how to really build a community that feel valued, feel wanted, and feel like they are developing in themselves and learning and growing, and feel like that sense of belonging that we're talking about. How can we create a container, a space, a home for people to feel that sense of belonging and community and purpose? Also create opportunities for people to step into their own power and feel their spark reignited, and these types of things. That's it really, man. And it's all so exciting. So and in that also, whoever's listening to now, we are so open for learning and ways to develop this and to build this. This is what I've already talked about from other people who are doing this or whatever else, or even just offering your unique gift and what you want to share with the world. We are so open for this, to journey together and it not be this hierarchical thing. It's like, no, this is really about all of us coming together, uniting in love, in play, in our pain, in our wounds, and growing together, So just putting that out there, that if you feel a curiosity, please get in touch, and we want to talk and share and grow together.
I think that could be the biggest piece. Creating new ways of working and living together, over and above more play, more tree climbing, more work on ourselves or more connection. Like it's to reimagine a new paradigm, and that could be what's calling. It's definitely calling this community and loads of people, festivals, events in the UK. It's like calling of us to create a new way of working together, of thriving together.
Reconnecting us to that which we were connected to more thousands of years ago or whatever, and in simpler times, and reconnecting us to our primal essence in ways, and simplifying, because it's gotten so confusing and complicated, a lot of our ways of living that we've been taught, a lot of confusion and distraction. And so you're right, man, that's so beautiful to say that, and very well said, of creating new pathways of being, and for this new earth that is being birthed in a way. And I feel like I have a part to play in that, and you do too, and we all do. We all have a part to play in that, and it's whether we feel the calling to step into that and do the work to bring this new way of being forward.
Yeah, and letting go of it ever happening.
Oh.
I think that's what I tune into most.
Yes.
It's like,
yeah. Yes.
Because holding on, because I have my lens in which I see things, and if I hold on to how I see things and want it to be certain ways, then it can't actually, it comes at it counters actually what I'm saying. Yeah, man, I have so much support for you and love for you, brother. I deeply admire, respect you, and want to raise you up in any way I can. Like, you know that. I hope you feel that.
Bro, I do. From the get-go, I mean, you were in that Playfight circle at the start, and since then to this moment where you're inviting me onto your pod and uplifting me right now, that whole journey has been one of, there have been a few people who've been there at the start somewhat of this and stuck truly by my side and supported me and celebrated me through it all, and seen me, almost like seeing me in my power and in my gift before I even saw it in myself. And definitely, brother, you're one of them, of just being there. The first Way of Play event, the second one, Power of in Play, and just continuously showing up. And we don't see each other that often, but that doesn't matter. It's like, it's not the point. It's like, it's really these bonds and connections that I feel I have in my life, which I am beyond grateful for. And I always want to tune into not taking it for granted and being truly grateful, because it's becoming my norm now, just having people like you in my life and just this support. And it's like, that's beautiful, but also tuning into being truly grateful and showing the gratitude more. I might feel it, but how can I show it truly through actions and words and just
merch.
And true, that has been a way. I've given a lot of merch away, bro. A lot, made about a couple quid. But that's been beautiful as well, definitely giving them, because the merch for me is more than just a jumper. Like it really it feels and shows a lot in what this is about, and to gift it to people is good. I love when you do. First jumper didn't quite make the cut for you though, did it? No.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
It's good. It's felt. It's not even. We never need to.
Yeah.
We never need to, but we like to express it, and it's important to. But yeah, bro. Honestly, this has been such a joy. There's been moments in this that I wanted to get to know you more, and that's what this caters to. So
man.
It's been wonderful.
It's really beautiful. I haven't done many podcasts at all, and I always have a want for them because they're so. I mean, who said it recently? Of just like, it was Zach Avery. It was like, this is a chance to like, it's like a coaching session of someone, like, or a therapy session where you're talk. There's more of a attention on me, let's say, to talk and share, and things come up, that have done in this conversation that I'm like, whoa, wow. And feelings and emotions, and a chance to share my truth and my message and my unique gift. So I really honor you for this work and for creating these spaces as well, because it's very healing and more than just like a podcast. It's
just keep going, man. Just keep everything you've said, man.
Keep it going. I don't have a choice in the matter.
Yeah, you don't. But then
I want to though. I want to.
You do, yeah.
I do and I don't. I know. I know.
I think the overarching pull and what's now going to be asked of you, in a way, you're accountable to.
Yeah.
That you're accountable to this thing you've created.
Yeah.
I love that view of like creating something you can be accountable to, and I think it's going to call of you to keep growing, keep deepening. There's going to be a lot of shit that's going to come up. Of course, you're going to face more attention, like outward focus, and people are going to throw their stuff at you.
Yeah, man.
More and more. I hope I can prepare for that somewhat.
Yes, get it.
Like, and me too. And it's happening. It's happening. And you're going to have different standards. Like, I don't want to tell you what your reality is, but
please do. Please.
Yeah, or your standards might change, and that comes at a cost to relationships. And yeah, man, just we spoke about it recently. It's like people underestimate the cost, actually, of. I've underestimated the cost of saying that what I stand for, being really outward spoken about it and going against the grain, being somewhat alternative, seeing a way that it doesn't resonate and I don't think it's helpful, somewhat judging that, and then saying no. Like, I know what I feel, and I know what makes everything in my life easier. So I'm going to stand for that. I'm going to be really in commitment to those things. And it comes at a big cost, because whether that's you returning home, whether that's not being accepted by a large group of people, maybe that's getting commented on all your posts on Instagram, whatever, it comes in many different forms. But there is a cost that comes from standing out from the crowd and like going in a different direction.
Yeah.
But if you're not upsetting some people, if you're not causing a stir, then yeah, you likely are doing something not effective or not beneficial too. Like, it doesn't benefit anyone for you to play small, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I just want to just speak to that and name that, because yeah, we can only do our best, and we don't know what we don't know, but there's something there to that, you know. There's something to that. Naive enough to start, but brave enough to finish.
Jeez. What am I finishing?
Should we say more quotes in here?
Yeah, put some more in.
Many quotes.
You haven't said any quotes.
What's your favourite quote?
This too shall pass.
Oh, poignant.
I think it is. I think obviously it's a very well-known one, but it actually is just like...
That's your... That's.
I don't know my favourite, but I don't have a favourite, but it comes right now.
It's the greatest fear that is not we are now adequate.
Yeah.
But we are powerful
beyond measure. It is not our light.
Did you know the full quote?
It is not
quite long.
Give me a sec. Coach Carter movie scene. Is not our fear that makes us... No, I've lost it. It is our light. It's not our light that we're afraid of. It's our darkness that... Anyone? Viewers, do you guys know?
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world.
Yes.
There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let down, and as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. We are liberated from our own fear. Our presence automatically liberates others. That quite sums up our conversation.
That's beautiful, man. That's it. I was
Remember
going
that
to say
one?
all that, but I just
Yes,
I
right.
just had a stomachache, so I can let it out.
I memorize it.
You're right.
That's a
Every
great
workshop,
quote.
every retreat, we all got to say it.
Simple. Beautiful, man. Where do you want to leave this?
Chapter. In the silence, in the stillness. No, I feel
We're going for 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Are you
know
serious? No, that was not 2 hours 20 minutes, bro. I thought it was an hour. An hour
that?
and...
It's the longest podcast yet.
Are you serious? Shut up.
True.
What?
Yeah.
Gonna get loads of content out of
Quick,
that?
because
Should I leave? Should I leave it on this? I'm out. No, thank you everybody for listening, tuning in. Thank you, Chris. It's been a pleasure. Yeah, very grateful to be here and excited, really excited more now after this conversation actually for what the future holds. Committed to this path, this work, and yeah, I just want to share my love to everyone listening, watching this right now. You are loved, you are enough, you have a divine superpower in your hands, our hands, an ability to make change in this world with each action, with each word. Each word is sacred, each moment. To treat it like that and to treat others how we like to be treated ourselves. Jesus, quote from Jesus. Yeah, I believe in you. I believe in you.
I believe in you.
Belief, what does it mean?